Lorgar Aurelian, the architect of the imperial cult and the first apostle of chaos, stands as one of the most complex figures in Warhammer 40,000. A primarch whose faith shaped empires and shattered civilizations, Lorgar's vision of humanity's future with chaos was both grand and fatally flawed. He believed chaos to be a force that humanity could harness, a divine truth that could elevate mortals beyond their limitations. Yet, his dream was a mirage, built on a catastrophic misinterpretation of chaos's true nature. Chaos is not a benevolent force, nor is it a partner in humanity's destiny. It is a consuming power, a predatory presence in the warp that corrupts and enslaves all who seek its favor. Today, we explore why Lorgar was fundamentally wrong about chaos, unraveling his beliefs and contrasting them with the harsh realities of the galaxy. We will delve into the nature of chaos and the warp, examining its parasitic relationship with the mortal realm and its role as the source of corruption rather than enlightenment. We will also scrutinize Lorgar's religious tendencies, both on Colchis and within the Imperium, to reveal how his theological biases blinded him to the true dangers of chaos. At the heart of this discussion lies a simple truth: chaos does not coexist, it dominates. Through Lorgar's journey, his rise as the Word-Bearer's spiritual leader, and his ultimate descent into servitude to the ruinous powers, we see the tragic consequences of his naivety. His belief that chaos could serve as humanity's salvation not only led to his legion's damnation, but also paved the way for the galaxy's darkest era. The warp, often called the Immaterium, is a dimension of raw psychic energy that mirrors and reacts to the emotions and desires of sentient beings. It is both a wellspring of immense power and an uncontrollable tempest, where physical laws are meaningless and time itself is mutable. Central to the warp are the Chaos Gods, vast entities born from collective emotions and psychic resonance. Khorne, Tzeentch, Nurgle, and Slaanesh embody rage, ambition, despair, and excess, respectively, and their dominion extends through countless demonic servants and corrupted souls. To the uninitiated, the warp might appear as an inexhaustible resource, offering knowledge, strength, and power to those willing to embrace its chaotic currents. However, this perception obscures a darker truth. Chaos is not a neutral force to be harnessed, but a predatory entity that consumes those who seek to wield it. Chaos's relationship with mortals is inherently parasitic. Mortals who open themselves to chaos invariably become vessels for its insatiable hunger, their physical forms twisted and their wills subsumed. Even those who rise to great heights as champions of chaos, like Abaddon the Despoiler or the fallen Primarchs, serve as tools for the gods' agendas, their victories Pyrrhic and their legacies invariably soaked in ruin. Chaos corrupts not only the body, but also the soul, leaving its victims unable to resist its grasp once the first step is taken. Unlike the Emperor's vision of humanity's ascension through discipline and unity, chaos offers a shortcut that leads only to servitude. The warp's true horror lies in its reflexive nature. It amplifies the flaws of those who interact with it. The desire for power becomes unquenchable ambition. Sorrow festers into despair. Anger erupts into unrelenting violence. The gods of chaos thrive on this emotional feedback loop, growing stronger as they ensnare more beings. There is no balance to be struck, no coexistence to be achieved. The very act of interacting with chaos begins an inevitable descent into annihilation or eternal slavery. Historical accounts, from the tragic fall of the Thousand Sons to the rampant corruption of the Horus Heresy, demonstrate that any attempt to utilize chaos ultimately results in devastation. In this light, Lorgar's belief that humanity can coexist with chaos is not only misguided, but fundamentally at odds with the nature of the warp itself. Chaos does not compromise. It is a force that consumes and corrupts, existing only to perpetuate its dominance over those who dare to reach for its power. From the moment of his discovery on the desert world of Colchis, Lorgar Aurelian was marked by an insatiable need to believe. Raised among a deeply religious people, he absorbed their faith and soon became their prophet, preaching unity under the worship of a single divine being. Colchis was home to 4 primary gods, entities revered by its populace and implied to be the chaos gods in disguise. Lorgar, even before his rise to Primarch, sought to unify these divine aspects into one overarching entity, a theological theory that presaged the concept of chaos undivided. His vision of uniting disparate forces under a single, harmonious faith foreshadowed the ideological trajectory that would later lead him into the embrace of chaos. When Lorgar was united with the Emperor, he found in him the culmination of his spiritual aspirations, a being worthy of worship. However, the Emperor's rejection of godhood clashed with Lorgar's worldview. Rather than adhere to the imperial edict of secularism, Lorgar spread the Lectitio Divinitatus, a scripture proclaiming the Emperor's divinity. This text, written before his fall to chaos, would later form the foundation of the imperial cult. Yet in Lorgar's time, it was a source of tension, directly defying the Emperor's vision of a rational, secular imperium. The Emperor's response came in the form of a devastating lesson: the raising of Monarchia. This act, carried out by the Ultramarines under the Emperor's orders, annihilated Lorgar's most devout city and left the word-bearers humiliated. The destruction of Monarchia was a pivotal moment for Lorgar. Stripped of his faith in the Emperor as a god, he turned his gaze elsewhere, seeking new truths that could fill the void left by this betrayal. Guided by his innate religiosity and the whispers of the warp, he discovered the Chaos Gods, not as individual entities, but as facets of a unified divine force. To Lorgar, the warp offered what the Emperor had denied: a sacred truth where faith and power intertwined. His theological inclination toward unifying divine aspects into a greater whole dovetailed perfectly with the concept of chaos undivided, solidifying his belief that humanity's future lay in worshipping and aligning with these forces. Ultimately, Lorgar's religious tendencies were his greatest strength and his deepest flaw. His need for faith, combined with his inability to reconcile the Emperor's rejection of divinity, made him an ideal target for chaos. Where other Primarchs might have resisted or rejected the promises of the Chaos Gods, Lorgar embraced them as the ultimate truth, rationalizing their corruption as a necessary path to enlightenment. His unshakable belief that humanity could coexist with chaos stems not from understanding its nature, but from his unyielding desire to see faith triumph over reason, a desire that would lead to his damnation and the word-bearer's eternal servitude to chaos. Lorgar's core belief that humanity could coexist with chaos stems from his conviction that faith can transcend corruption. To him, chaos was not a malign force to be feared, but a divine truth to be embraced. He viewed the Chaos Gods as representatives of primal truths, manifestations of ambition, emotion, and potential. In his mind, humanity's subjugation to chaos was not a surrender, but an opportunity to ascend to a higher state of being, freed from the limitations of mortality and reason. However, this vision was built on a profound misunderstanding of chaos's true nature. Chaos does not coexist. it dominates. The Chaos Gods are beings of pure self-interest, concerned only with their endless power struggles and the consumption of mortal souls. They thrive on the passions and weaknesses of mortals, feeding on the very emotions that Lorgar believed could elevate humanity. While Lorgar's philosophy attempted to frame chaos as a reciprocal relationship, the reality is far grimmer. Chaos offers power and enlightenment only to those willing to sacrifice everything, including their autonomy. For humanity to coexist with chaos would mean eternal servitude, their individuality and civilizations subsumed into the gods' endless hunger. The historical record is rife with examples of chaos's inability to coexist with anything it touches. The fall of the Eldar, driven by their unchecked hedonism, and the birth of Slanesh stands as one of the galaxy's greatest cautionary tales. Similarly, the tragic fate of the Thousand Suns reveals how even noble intentions can be twisted into damnation when chaos is involved. Magnus the Red and his sons sought to use the warp's power to preserve knowledge and protect humanity, but their pact with Tzeentch sealed their corruption. These examples highlight a universal truth. Chaos does not elevate, it consumes. Lorgar's theological bias blinded him to this reality. His belief in chaos as a divine force led him to dismiss its predatory nature, interpreting its corrupting influence as a necessary sacrifice for enlightenment. Yet, as the Horus heresy unfolded and the legions under chaos's sway became tools for destruction, it became clear that chaos was incapable of the balance Lorgar envisioned. His dream of coexistence was not merely idealistic, it was catastrophically naive. Chaos's ultimate goal is domination, and its servants, no matter how devoted or powerful, are nothing more than expendable pawns in a cosmic game they cannot win. Lorgar Aurelian's faith in chaos as a path to humanity's salvation was a tragic and fundamental error. As the first to embrace the ruinous powers, he believed that chaos could be harnessed to elevate mankind. But in truth, chaos is a force that corrupts and destroys all it touches. Lorgar's naivety blinded him to the nature of the warp, and rather than uniting humanity with chaos, his actions opened the door to ruin. The word-bearers, once the Emperor's most devout followers, became instruments of the Chaos Gods, driven by an ideology that promised ascension but delivered only despair. In their blind zeal, they not only betrayed the Imperium but also laid bare the fallacy of Lorgar's vision. Chaos does not uplift. It dominates, twists, and consumes, as his legion discovered all too well. Ultimately, Lorgar's belief that humanity could coexist with chaos was shattered by the very consequences of his own actions. His mistake was not merely in his devotion to chaos, but in his failure to understand that the ruinous powers could never offer a future for mankind, only an eternity of subjugation and decay. If you enjoyed this discussion, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more insights into the Warhammer 40K universe.